Hey guys, welcome back. I'm for Terrace Films.
And I'm Doug 218. Good evening, guys. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. We are back and we are recapping MasterChef Legends, season number 18, episode number 8.
Mystery box number 2.
Number 2.
And
seems funny. It's the 8th episode, but we're only on 2 mystery boxes.
Exactly. So our guest legend this week is the king of California cuisine and Aaron Sanchez's culinary mentor, Jonathon Waxman. And Joe kind of commented, you know, how many of us can say this? We're all restaurateurs, but Jonathon's been in the business 50 years.
Yeah.
Since 1972.
Right.
Wow. And so he comes on and...
Not too many could say
No, exactly. And when he comes on, they're all at their stations, and it's like, Aaron's just happy. He goes, well, listen, this man has been kind of like my culinary father. I lost my father at a young age, so he helped me through some very tough times. And you can see that almost a paternal kind of thing with them. Yeah. So Gordon says, you know, this mystery box challenge is a dinner for 4 at Jonathon's.
The reward.
The reward. I was getting there.
No, you said it's a mystery box challenge with the reward. It was the dinner.
For 4 at Jonathon's restaurant, Barbuto.
Right. That's a big win.
That is a big win because this man is like booked solid.
He said there's a years-long waiting list.
Well, they asked Joe asked him at one point, how many bookings do you have for tonight? Jonathon, without batting an eye, said 2,000.
Yeah.
2,000 people on a waiting list. Wow. Okay, so it's a 5-ingredient challenge. They have an hour to cook, and they stress this. All 5 ingredients must be used.
And it's supposed to be California cuisine.
So what they got were...
Because they said he's known for California. It's like the one that kind of almost invented that type of cuisine.
Of course. And so the ingredients were spot prawns, wasabi, uni, grapefruit, and there was one other, avocado. So they said they've got an hour to cook. Gordon says your 60 minutes start.
They also said if you didn't use all 5 ingredients, you would go home.
That's correct. So we get off and running, and the first one we see the judges actually talk to, it's Aaron and Jonathon. They talk to Michael, and Michael is doing a pan-seared prawn with a wasabi tarragon sauce and a crostini with avocado and spicy grapefruit. Like, okay, you know, but make sure everything kind of works and, you know, marries together really well. While this is going on, Gordon and Joe talk to Tay, and Tay's making his version of a chilate de Cameroon. I've never heard of this, but the look on Joe's face when he tasted it, it was spicy. Because Joe just kind of went, wow.
I want to tone that down a bit.
Yeah. He goes, you got plenty of time, you know. You can mellow out the flavors, but just to look like, what? And so he says, okay, I'm going to do that, but also I'm going to put it's a chili sauce. I'm going to cook the prawns in it. Then Aaron and Jonathon talk with Abe. Now, Jonathon was kind of impressed with the kid because he's like taking food studies at NYC. He's like, that's a great program. And Abe is doing a broiled prawn in uni butter with a salsa with grapefruit juice and wasabi with avocado crema as the base. So Jonathan's like, how are you gonna eat it? You know, because the spot prawns, once they break them down, they're like maybe.
But they can almost look like smaller shrimp.
Yeah.
You know, once you take them apart, there's not a lot to them.
So it's like, okay. He goes, just remember, and even Aaron said, you know, everything's very stripped down, so everything has to be on point.
Right.
Okay, then we jump from Jonathan and Aaron back to Gordon and Joe, and they talk to Sue. And they paid Sue a really nice comment earlier, like, okay, you know the ins and outs of Burmese cuisine.
Right.
And it's nice to see you venture outside that. Do you have more to show us? Right. And she's like, oh, definitely. So she is doing a grilled prawn. She's going to grill the prawns, and we'll pair them with an avocado salad with wasabi and grapefruit vinaigrette. Also, they stress to the cooks, these things take 90 seconds to cook.
Right.
The prawns.
They actually didn't trust. They only stress a roll that we saw to like Sue and maybe one or two others.
You know, it's
not to everybody, but what we saw they showed.
And so it's like
she took it to heart though.
Remember, it was mentioned that there's such a short window.
Yeah.
Jonathan and Aaron are back talking to Lexi. She's doing a deconstructed tostada with a guacamole, and she's like, maybe I'm gonna cut the tostada in half, and like Jonathan's like, leave it round, because it's like it's gonna be hard with everything that's in it. How are people gonna pick it up? Leave it round. She's like, okay, I'll take, take the advice. This is what we've said in a few episodes. When they give you advice, take it.
They're doing it for a reason.
Now Gordon and Joe come to Joseph's cook station. Now remember, we said the spot prawns take 90 seconds to cook. He's cooked them to death.
They're like almost burnt.
They look crispy.
Well, they said they're dry.
And
did it too early.
Joe's like, this pan is still hot. They're still cooking.
They're a little bit darker around the edges.
So basically, now he's got to restart.
Yeah.
Now he's got to throw himself on the mercy of the others.
Because he has to know more.
He has no more.
He has to go ask.
And he's like begging and pleading, do you have any extra? Can you give me this? Give me that? And he manages to get enough so he can do
several others.
Exactly. To start the cook again.
Yeah.
So Anne gets a chance. Aaron and Jonathan get to talk to Anne. She's making a seafood risotto with grilled prawns on top, uni inside. So Jonathan's like, mind if I dig in, start tasting and this and that. And Jonathan looks at her and he goes, you're done. It's perfect. Don't mess with it anymore. So she's okay, Now Gordon and Joe come to Autumn. Autumn has said in previous episodes that we've recapped, she doesn't like seafood. She doesn't cook with seafood. She's not a big seafood fan. So she decides, you know what? I'm going to do a twist. We from Boston, we have, as her accent says, a chowder.
Right.
So she makes a New England chowder with spot prawns. And Gordon's like, stop it. Stop it. You're putting the most expensive prawn in a chowder. And then they're like, they ask her, how are you going to work like the rest of the ingredients in? She goes, oh, they'll all be there,
Right.
And so it's we find out, okay, the competition's been going on. They give the last the last few minutes to get the call out. Okay, you need to start plating up. And here's Sue. She fires up that plancha grill, throws the spot prawns. It's like maybe a minute and a half.
Yeah, about that.
And they're like, and then the camera flips around, shows the faces of the judges. They're like, "Hey, oh my God, like let's go, turn it over."
Dramatic effect.
Dramatic effect. But also, Tay, when he was making his dish, he made a compound butter.
Right.
With the uni. Put it in the fridge to harden up.
And then forgot it.
Remember this statement. He forgot it. So she gets, at the last second, pulls those prawns off, gets the dish done. They call it, that's it, done. So we get to the top three. Mm-hmm. And our top three, Miss Sue is the first one called up. And she looks shocked, I thought.
Yeah.
She did a grilled spot prawn with uni butter and avocado and with a grapefruit and wasabi dressing, like a salad. Basically, she said she was going to do a salad with spot prawns. Now, when they tasted it, they said you paid great respect to every ingredient. Everything was married right, and you were the only one that waited to the last second to cook these.
Right.
And the cook was perfect. So they're like, bloody good job.
Yeah.
The second one that got called up was Abe. And from his station, Abe's like, holy bitch.
Wait, what the? Shocked.
And Joe's like, what? You look shocked to be asked to come up. He's like, pretty much.
Yeah.
So Abe did broiled prawns with uni butter, with avocado crema, and a grapefruit wasabi salsa. And he more or less, as Joe said, he more or less dictated how the bite should be.
Yeah.
And what, and Joe said, I'm going to take, you said, this is how you said it's going to be. I'm going to taste the whole, as he put it, the whole monkey.
Right.
And they said the comments were really good for him. They said, he showed a real refinement. Gordon said he has a palate, and Joe told him, because of how you dictated it, that's how I ate it.
Right.
So there was an understanding of what you're expecting. The last one to get called up, Autumn. So she did a New England style chowder with a citrus pan-seared spot prawn with uni butter, with an uni butter toast. And they all kind of went, normally you don't do this. You don't put a spot prawn in this. It's either going to be a monumental failure and a waste of our time, or it's going to be bloody brilliant. It wasn't a failure.
I guess it's bloody brilliant.
It was bloody brilliant. Even Jonathon Waxman said to her, you showed a great respect, and you were able to, even in this chowder, as he even put it, he goes, you showed great poise.
Right.
So they say, listen, you three have given us a lot to discuss. They take a step back into the restaurant part of the MasterChef kitchen. They talk, they come back out, and they said, okay, we made a decision. And the winner of the dinner for four at Jonathon Waxman's restaurant, Barbuto, is, you ready?
Yep.
Sue.
I think she was shocked.
Oh, she looked it.
Yeah.
But, she's like, oh my God, I won,
Yeah.
Come on, she is so cute though. You just want to give her a hug kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we went from the highest of highs to
the bottom three.
Now we're going to the lowest of lows. The
I don't
bottom.
think it's much of a shock, really.
No. And the man that got called up first, Alejandro. 3 weeks in a row, this man has been in the bottom 3. Now, you saw through the cook of the episode, Alejandro has a severe seafood allergy.
Right, can't taste it.
Can't taste it, can't touch it.
Well, even during the cook, he asked
Joseph,
who was basically cooking beside him, to taste things for him. He can't taste it. He had gloves on and everything when he was breaking down the prawns.
So he did a grilled spot prawn with ajijo sauce with avocado and a tomato salad. Wasabi, grapefruit dressing. Joe looked at it and went, this is like everything that Sue's dish isn't. Like, it didn't, like, he more or less got told there was no real refinement. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, Joe said it was disrespectful how he used the uni. Like, everyone else used it as a component in a butter or a sauce.
Right.
He just threw it on top.
Threw it on top.
And Joe's like, how dare you, kind of thing.
Right.
So they get him to step back.
Yeah, it's like this big blob
on
top of the prawns.
Yeah, you know, 2 little yellow things sitting like this.
Yeah, like weird.
Tay gets called up next.
Yeah.
And he's like in the vignette.
Well, he admitted to them that he forgot the butter.
And
the uni butter.
And he was hoping that maybe, you know, they would let it slide if everything else was on point.
And if somebody had a worse dish than him.
Now, remember what we said earlier. He did a prawn tostada with cilantro, grapefruit slaw, and an avocado wasabi crema. They liked it. They said it was...
Oh, they said that was delicious, but they could taste.
They said it was fantastic. But... It's
because he didn't have the uni butter, they actually wanted to taste it. So they had
sent
to
him to the fridge.
Get it out of the fridge so they could try it. And they said, you know, it's actually a shame
that it didn't make
it on the dish because it was actually delicious. So
and you know, it's you know, it's a shame. Like you said, they told him it's a shame that it got away from you and you forgot it. Last but not least was Joseph. Now, Joseph, he did a prawn pasta with uni crema, with avocado, grapefruit, and uni with grapefruit ponzu. This thing, how did Joe refer to it? This thing looked like a dump bucket. There was no poise. There was like no real thought in how to really present this, because Jonathon said, like, let these ingredients shine, let them communicate, because it's clean, fresh ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Not there.
Yeah.
So Joseph kind of thought, okay, maybe this is my time. I'm going to go. And
well, I think really he would have.
Yeah. If it was any other competition, when it was, he would have gone. But they stepped back and they said, you guys have given us a lot to talk about. They stepped back. They come back to the podium and said, okay, listen, one of you had a complete and utter failure, and one of you forgot one component. And
well, like they said, it would be Jonathon or Joseph who would have gone home. But because Tay forgot the uni butter, and if you remember, they said, if you forget something, you're going home. So Tay ended up being the one to go home.
And they didn't.
Like even Joe said, he doesn't like, because he had a good dish.
Yeah.
So he didn't like the fact that he was being sent home on a technicality.
You know, but
But that was the rules.
Rules are rules. And Gordon even said to him, listen, anytime you want to come to any of my kitchens for a week, the door is wide open.
Yeah.
And Tay's like, you know what? I made it this far.
Right.
I'm going to put my shoulders back, keep my head up, and I'm going to strut, you know?
Right.
I'm going to keep cooking because they saw his talent. Sorry to see him go. I kind of had him tagged as
one of the front runners.
One of the front runners,
he did very well. He was usually in the top 3 or close to it pretty much from the beginning. So, I mean, it's kind of, it is sad that he's going on with a technicality, really. You know, but rules are rules, I guess.
And it's a competition, and you don't follow it completely. You know, it's up to you to keep your eye on the prize.
Yeah.
So, sadly, it is gone. We see the vignette for next week. It's a street food challenge for the king of street food, Roy Cho. Should be interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
What did you think of the episode?
I thought, like, I kind of, along with Joe, I mean, if Tay had remembered the uni butter,
exactly,
he probably would have been in the top 3.
Oh, I agree.
You know, and potentially even won it because they said it was delicious.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I mean, I understand that rules are rules, and that's why he got sent home, is because, you know, he forgot to put it on. He made it, it just forgot to put it on there. So I mean, I don't know. I kind of find it like, I know that he had to go home because that's how they set the competition up. But it just doesn't seem fair considering they liked his dish, and Joseph had a mess of a dish, and same with Alejandro. So I don't know if there's part of that that's not really fair, but I guess it is because that's how that competition is set up. But I don't know. I think it should have probably been Joseph, not Tay, but
like I said, if it was any other competition, Joseph would have been skipping to the door.
Yeah.
And to hear like a legend like Jonathon Waxman, who's been in the culinary industry for 50 years, look out and say, you've got some serious talent in this kitchen.
Well, even like Gordon's like, what's top 10? So.
You know, that is big props coming from someone that has done this for 50 years.
50 years, yeah.
You know, and this was a good episode. It shows that, like even Gordon said, even the simplest ingredients can be the most daunting
and the most difficult to make. They've said that over and over again, that, you know, don't take simple ingredients for granted, because they actually a lot of times can be the hardest to do well.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm really enjoying MasterChef Legends so far, and I like the Legends.
Yeah, that the new legend every week. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good premise this season.
And it's also, that's what the challenge is that week for whatever that legend specialty is. That's what they're going to be cooking.
You know,
I like that.
Yeah,
it's
like
good.
Jonathon was California cuisine. Next week will be street food.
Right.
So it's really testing them to go the distance. So I can't wait to see next week's episode.
It will be interesting, and we hope you will join us next week for when we recap MasterChef Legends Season 18. Thank you for joining us very much. You know, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live every Sunday for MasterChef Legends Season number 18. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And I look forward to hanging out with you and you next Sunday.
See you next week, guys.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye.